guys, welcome back to Crafts by KMW. Thank you so much for clicking on this video to watch it, and I hope you enjoy it. So today I'm going to test my new Kingart mixed media gel sticks. So these I got from Home Goods for $8, I believe. The price sticker was on the plastic wrap that these were wrapped in, but I'm pretty sure it's $8. And I've been wanting to try these. I bought some really expensive, like artist quality gel crayons, and they were over $5 a piece. And I am hoping that these are good so I can buy a full set of them with lots and lots of colors for a really good price. So these are the metallic colors, which I did not realize when I picked these up in the store. But I'm okay with that. I love metallics. I love shiny. So they come in their own case. So I'm not sure. I think this is the top. The case is not super high quality. It's just regular plastic, but it's kind of flimsy. So you may or may not want to keep these in there if you buy the same set as I have. So the colors are gold, copper, orange, dark pink, pink, purple, light purple, blue, dark green, green, and silver. So it's a nice range. So these supposedly work both dry and wet. So I'm going to try them. So I'm just going to pick up a random color. So they look pretty nice. They look exactly like my Marabou ones. They have the Kingart name on them. And they do have the name. So this says metallic dark blue gloss. So that, or no, excuse me, not gloss. Metallic dark blue, and then it's got the number on it. So that's pretty nice that it has a name. It has a comfort grip. So this thing here is a comfort grip. It has these little ovals that have ridges in them to help you grab, and it is contoured. I don't know if you can tell that it sort of dips down in the middle. And then a plastic cap, which comes off really easily. So let's see how this works. Oh, really nice. So this goes on really smooth, really buttery and creamy. So I'm just going to smooth this out with my finger. Now I am using porous paper. I am using paper that has a little bit of tooth to it because I find that most coloring books have a little bit of tooth. So that was why I picked this paper to test on. So it doesn't blend especially well with my finger, at least not on this paper. So I'm going to turn it over. So the other side is black. So I'm going to try that. And I think this side is a little bit more glossy than the other side. So as you can see, it does show on the black, although not as well as on the white, obviously. And let me... Now this does blend a little bit better. I wound up taking a lot of the color off, but it does blend better on paper that has a little bit of a gloss to it or a little bit of a sheen on it. So just a little hint. So now I'm going to use it with water. So I'm going to actually use one of my new Kingart paintbrushes. I bought a pack of 10 paintbrushes for $3.99, also at Home Goods. This one is the Filbert size 8. So just gonna add a little bit of water. Oh, much better. Okay. Yeah, that blends really nicely with the water. Much better than it does without it. But you can see the original spot. So you can see how it's a little bit darker where I laid out the original color. Now, I don't know if that's because maybe I let it sit for a minute. Well, it was actually just a few seconds, but let me try it again and not let it sit so long. All right, so getting my paintbrush wet. All right, I'm ready. Okay, I had a lot of water on this. Okay, so yeah, doing it quicker really didn't help too much. You can still see the original area I put it in. So I'm gonna add some more right on top and blend again. I did not add more water. That does help. But again, you can still see the lines. These definitely do not work as well as the Marabou do. Although I have not tried the Marabou on this paper, which I will in just a few minutes. So let me try on the other side. So the other side is black and it has a little bit of a gloss to it, a little bit of a sheen to it. Yeah, it spreads really nicely on this paper. Again, with a little bit of a coating on it. And you don't really see the original spot. And this does have a really nice glittery finish to it. I don't know if you can see it really well, but it is super glittery. And now the blue is a little bit glittery now too. It's actually sort of iridescent too. So the finish of these is really, really nice. So I like that, but it definitely is a little problematic on porous paper. I'm wondering how these will work on, say, a Hannah Carlson book, which is really, really porous paper. So trying to see if I have a coloring book nearby that, oh, I do. Okay, I have Tales from the Witch's Cottage right here. So let me see if, okay, I could see myself doing like a blue, purpley background on here. So I am going to grab the dark purple and see how that works on here. And you can put the cap on the bottom of it, which is really nice. I like that. A lot of art supplies, you have to put the caps aside. It doesn't fit on the bottom of the tool, but this does. So I do like that. All right, so I'm just doing this randomly here because I have obviously not planned out what I want to do with this page. But again, I think I would do kind of a dark, mystical, nighttime background. I'm using the same paintbrush, the Kingart paintbrush. Okay, so this is just one layer. So here you can see that you can see the original lines. It kind of reminds me of the Faber-Castell gelatos. The gelatos do this too. You have to use several layers of the gelatos to kind of get rid of those lines. So I'm going to apply another layer here. I'm going in both directions. This is a little bit better, but you still can see somewhat the lines. Now, I have used the Marabou ones. I have just silver and gold of those, and they don't seem to leave any lines behind. And as you can see, I think it's starting to sort of flake the paper a little bit. So, I don't know. These are interesting. So I like them. I think, I mean, these colors are really, really pretty. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my Marabou, the silver and gold, and test those two against the Kingart silver and gold. So I'll be right back as I get those colors. Okay, so I have my Marabou ones, and I'm gonna pull out the Kingart gold and silver. So they're the same size. They look basically the same. They all have the same caps. They all have the comfort grip. So now we'll put them against one another. So I'll do the gold first. So I'm gonna use the Marabou gold. It lays down pretty much the same as the Kingart. I don't see any difference in the lay down. But you can see how this one melts pretty well on this porous paper. So now here's the Kingart. I'll put that right next to it. Now I used a little bit more water on that. All right, I'm gonna let those dry a little bit before I do too much comparison wet. But the Kingart one is definitely a little bit more darker and more yellowy to me. It has more of that yellow tinge. So now let's try the silver while those are drying. So here is the Marabou silver. Okay. And now here is the Kingart silver. One, two, three. Okay, I was trying to do the same number of layers. Okay. So looking at the golds, so this is the Marabou. it's light, and you can see a little bit of the original lines where I placed it. The Kingart, you can see even more though of the original area where I placed the crayon. I don't see much of a difference other than that. They both seem to be the same degree of like shimmeriness. And the only other difference I would say is that the Kingart is a little bit darker, deeper, maybe a little bit more yellow in it. And then here's the silver. They're both kind of light. I think the Kingart's a little bit darker. The Kingart is definitely shimmering a little bit more than the Marabou one is. And on both of them, you can see the lines where, you can see pretty clearly the area where I first applied the color. So, I don't know, they're pretty similar with these two. So, now I'm gonna do it on the black side. So again, I'm gonna use the Marabou first. And this is not only to test how they look on black, but also because the black has a sheen to it, so it's not absorbing as much. Okay, that is super, super light. So now I'm gonna use the Kingart right next to it. And I did use quite a bit of water, probably more water than I would if I was doing this in a coloring book. All right, so I'll let that dry. And now I'm gonna do the same with the silver. So here's the Marabou. And now the Kingart silver. Okay, so they both definitely work much better on paper that has a little bit of a sheen. That is clear. And that is very similar to gelatos. I use my Faber-Castell gelatos on anything, but they are definitely easier to use with paper that has a little bit of a sheen. And then, so let's look at the gold. So both of them did really well on this paper with, again, with a little bit of a sheen. You can't really see the original lines where I placed the original blob. They both are shimmery and glittery. And same with the silver. Right now the Kingart is actually shimmering a little bit more, the silver, than the Marabou. So I would say that compared against the Marabou, at least these two colors, it's a wash. I would say that the Kingart does very well against the Marabou, which are really high-priced gel crayons, artist quality, and Marabou products are known as artist quality. So I'm kind of surprised. I didn't think that the Kingart would do that well, especially when I was just using the Kingart and saw how they don't do as well on non-coated paper, on paper that's kind of porous, on paper that has some tooth to it. So really surprised and pleasantly pleased. I'm very pleased about that, because now I feel like I can go ahead and, when I'm ready, buy that big set of Kingart gel crayons that I have in my Amazon cart and feel good about the purchase and know that I'm going to like them. I think the key will be adding layers. So I'm gonna take the lilac. They actually call this light purple. And I'm gonna add another layer to this. And see if I can get those lines to disappear a little bit better. Because that's what I have to do with my gelatos. When I use my Faber-Castell gelatos, I have to put a lot of layers on in order to get it to look lush and seamless and without lines or anything like that. Oh, that looks much better. Okay, take a look at that. So that extra layer really helped. And again, it is super shimmery, iridescent, and glittery. I think I was gonna say glitterly, glittery right from the get-go. So multiple layers definitely help. Using paper that has a little bit of a coating where you can, that will help. I think these would probably work really well on marker paper, which has a sheen to it. So I think these would work really well on there. I definitely like them with water better. I do not, and probably will not, use these ever without water. I will probably always add water to them and make them like a paint. I do that with my Faber-Castell gelatos too. Even though you can use them without, I find it very difficult. I find they don't blend very well, like with just your finger, or even with a blending tool, a sponge or something. So it just doesn't work for me really well. If you use these and you do the blending with your fingers or another tool and it works for you, let me know. I'd love to know. But it just doesn't work for me. So I will definitely be using these with water, and I am very pleased. I would say that the Kingart holds up very well, and I would definitely recommend the Kingart over the Marabou if you want to save some money and not spend too much. I believe that the set of Kingart that I have in my cart on Amazon, I forget how many they have, but it's like $42 compared to like 12 of the Marabou, which are like $50, I think, or at least last time that I looked, they were. So there's just no price comparison. So I definitely recommend the Kingart. They seem really good. There are a little bit of issues. You do have to finesse it and really know what paper you're using and understand the type of paper you're using. And, you know, do you have to use less water or more water? Do you need to put lots of layers on? I think that is really important. So in this book, in my Hannah Carlson book, I will definitely add some more layers on here to try to get rid of some of that like spotting look to it and make it more solid. So now that I know that, I can do that and use these very well. So that's the video. Let me know what you think. I answer all comments, and I love to see your reactions to my videos. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And please remember to look me up on Instagram if you'd like, Crafts by KMW, and you can sign up for my Facebook group. on Facebook at Crafts by KMW as well. Would love to have you and see you there. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day, and of course, a very crafty one as well.